Hi everyone, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. Grab your 2 yoga blocks and a strap, as well as a blanket in case you may want to use them. And let's start, or invite you to start in child's pose. I'm gonna start sitting down so that I can speak more clearly. So come on down to your knees and bring the inner edges of your feet together to touch at the rear of your mat. Knees can be together or wide apart. And as you rest your forehead down onto the earth, notice if it might be helpful to place a prop underneath your forehead to support space in your neck. And then place your arms wherever you like as you arrive in child's pose, in Balasana. So today is another full moon in October 2021. And the full moon can be an opportune time when the sun illuminates the moon, and what lurks in the shadows in day-to-day life in the unconscious mind can begin to surface. You might feel heightened emotions, things that we can easily bury underneath the surface on a day-to-day basis when we're attending to the outside world in our busyness, can become more pronounced in that we can no longer just sweep it under the rug. So notice what's coming up for you, if anything, if you detect anything, as you take a moment to ground. Feel into your physical body. Notice what sensations or what you can tune into through your felt sense. Notice the quality of your breathing just as it is. And feel into your state of mind, state of heart. And I'd like to open up the practice today with a few quotes from spiritual teacher, the late Ram Dass. He says, "What you meet in another being is the projection of your own level of evolution." He also said, "I would like my life to be a statement of love and compassion. And where it isn't, that's where my work lies." He also said, "A feeling of aversion or attachment towards something is your clue that there's work to be done. And everything changes once we identify with being the witness to the story instead of the actor in it." So think of the stories and narratives that play throughout the day in your mind, the beliefs that we carry and cloud or color our perception of what's happening around us. We talk so much about being at the seat of witness in our mindfulness meditations and practices. And the last quote, "Learn to watch your drama unfold, while at the same time knowing you are more than your drama." So begin to deepen your breath, allowing the inhale to gently expand. Notice where it goes first, where you can sense it the most. And then let any sound that may want to release through your mouth go as you exhale. Even longer inhalation. As you're still in child's pose, begin to walk your arms forward, straightening the arms as you lower your forehead on the ground. Exhaling any sound again through your mouth. And now I invite you to continue to breathe in an even way. Inhale and exhale, sustain. And if possible, closing your lips and softly narrowing the back of your throat, using Ujjayi Pranayama or victorious breathing to bring a sense of balance to your mind body. And with that, as you continue in extended child's pose where you are now, please begin to walk your hands over to the right, reaching outside of your mat perhaps, lengthening into the left side of your body. Inhale. Exhale. Fine-tuning the smooth transition between your breaths, so that beginning with your breathing, you influence your own energetic state and how you'll begin to move your body as we move into Vinyasa flow or breath-led movement. Now let's walk the hands through center, keep drawing the hips down to your feet, and then walk your hands over to the left side, opening up the right side body for a few breaths. So as I mentioned, we are going to focus physically quite a bit on spinal twists, which is much about releasing, shedding what is no longer of use, helping to promote digestion. But think about how digestion is not only of the food that we intake, but we digest stimuli all throughout our senses. So letting go of what is no longer serving our well-being and evolution. As you come back to center, come forward onto hands and knees, separate your shins so they're parallel to each other. Knees are a couple inches behind the hips, wrists right under the shoulders. And as you inhale, draw your chest through your upper arms as you look up towards the full moon in cow pose. As you exhale, lifting your navel, bow down towards the earth in cat pose. Take a few more cycles here on your own, inhaling to lift your chest and exhaling to round your back. And then for a few more breaths, notice if your body wants to move differently. Feel free to vary this movement on your own, maybe circling the pelvis side to side, maybe shaking the head and gently stretching your neck, or maybe stretching your wrists by turning the fingertips out or flipping the palms to face up. Remember that this is your yoga practice. Let my words be a buffet for you to choose from as you tune into what you need each moment of this hour and 5 minutes. Tailoring your own physical yoga to align with your intention for this practice. Let's start to make our way up into downward facing dog, lifting your hips up and back as you spread your fingers flat on the ground. Allow a few breaths here to shift around in your own way as you might need, like pedaling your feet slowly in place. Maybe rolling out your head, stretching your neck, maybe even stretching your face, opening the mouth. And then open up across your shoulders here as you keep your fingers plugged into the ground. Roll your outer upper arms towards the ground and continue to lift your shoulders back as you drop your head freely. Remember that you can also vary downward dog by placing your knees on the floor and extending your arms and torso forward with the belly engaged. Now let's hold still as you listen to your own breath for 3 cycles. Rooting down through your palms. Inhale, lift your right leg behind you from the inseam of the leg. As you exhale, bending your right knee towards your nose, round forward into plank pose, and lightly step the foot just beside your right thumb. Lower your back knee into a kneeling lunge. Making sure your legs are hips width apart and your front knee is bent right on top of the heel. Feel free to place your hands on blocks here if that allows you to relax your shoulders more. Take a breath in and coil your chest up. Let the tailbone sink down. Now as you exhale, begin to scissor the right hip back. Lift the ball of your right flex foot and bow to the inside of your right leg as though you have a flat back. Keep flowing like that. Inhale, bend the front knee again. Coil your chest up. Exhale, extend your sternum forward as you straighten the leg and bow. 3 more cycles of breath. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor and fold. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor and fold. Last round. Now please return to a lunge and root the sole of your right foot stably onto the ground. Reach your arms overhead as you draw your frontal hip bones slightly up towards your frontal ribs. Lengthening up and down your spine, take hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Keeping your right foot still, breathe in and lift to your crown. Exhale, start to side bend to your right. Deep breaths here. Inhale, lift the spine some more. Exhale, maybe side bend a little more. Notice that your right kneecap and your right middle toe continue to face forward. 2 more breaths. As you inhale, lift back to center, using your right thumb to hook the crease of your right outer hip down. Keep your 2 hips leveled and facing forward. Inhale, stretch your spine forward down the midline of your mat. Place the left fingertips on the ground or on a block right beneath your left shoulder. Again, keep the right leg still and exhale, hollow your belly and turn your chest to face your right wall little by little with each breath. Making sure the right knee is directly on top of the right heel here. Raise your right arm to the sky and let's continue to twist for another 4 breaths. Each inhalation, reaching your spine forward out through the crown of your head. And each exhalation, feeling your belly soften in as you continue to rotate your rib cage along the axis of your spine. Notice that your left shoulder here is relaxed back. It's not coming up towards your left ear. Let's take 1 more deep breath, widening across your arms. And as you exhale, place your hands on the floor and please step back into downward facing dog. Draw the navel towards your spine. Inhale, glide forward into the top of a push-up. Your version of plank pose for a few breaths. Now you could keep your legs straight or place your knees on the ground right beneath your hips. With a belly still lifted, broaden your chest forward and lengthen your neck. Moving through Chaturanga Dandasana, as you exhale, glide forward. Graze your elbows by your side ribs through Chaturanga and come all the way down. Let's start in Sphinx pose. Press your toenails down into the earth and slide your forearms forward until your elbows land just beneath your shoulders. Take a few breaths here of actively stretching your big toes towards the rear of your mat, pressing your pubic bone into the ground, all to stabilize your lower back. And then breathing wide across your heart space as you gaze just ahead of your thumbs on the earth, lengthening the back of your neck. 2 more breaths. And then as you're ready, place your hands alongside your floating ribs. With an exhale, press up into plank and lift your hips back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath here. Let it go. And lifting from the inseam of the leg, inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, rounding through plank, bend the knee towards your nose and step the foot lightly beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee, separate your legs hips distance, and stack your front knee right above the heel. Hands on blocks or the floor. Take a deep breath and coil your chest up, sinking your tailbone towards the ground. Exhale, lift the ball of your left flexed foot and scissor your left hip back as you straighten your front leg and bow to the inside of it, as though you have a flat back. Again, inhale, bend your front knee into a lunge, look up. Exhale, scissor the left hip back and bow in. Keep going for 3 more breaths. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, scissor and bow. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, bow in. Last round. Please come back to a lunge. Root down your left foot as you raise your arms overhead, slightly lifting your frontal hip bones as you lengthen up and down your spine. Take hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Breath in, a little taller here. Exhale, side bend to your left for a few breaths. See that your left kneecap and middle toe are pointing straight ahead. That left leg is stably still. Your shoulder blades soften down your back ribs. 2 more breaths. Inhale, come back to center. Using your left thumb, hook the crease of your left outer hip down. Keeping your 2 hips even in height. Inhale, stretch the spine forward. Lower your right fingertips just beneath your right shoulder on the ground or on a block. And begin to twist to your left, raising your left arm up. Got about 4 more breaths here to explore what's available to you in this twist. So each inhalation, continue to direct your spine to lengthen forward. And each exhalation, feel your belly hollow as you continue to rotate your rib cage. And be aware what that right shoulder especially is doing here. Keep drawing it down the back. Last 2 breaths. This time, let's step right into plank pose of your choice. Taking 1 inhale in plank as you lengthen through the center line of your body. Exhale, glide forward, graze your elbows by your ribs, come all the way down for cobra. Root down through the tops of your feet. Inhale, coil your chest open. Tucking your toes, exhale, press up through plank and lift your hips back to downward dog. Let's take 3 slow breaths. What is your intention for your practice tonight? Might we cultivate a sense of honest witnessing to see what might lurk within the shadows of our subconscious mind? Bend to your knees. Inhale, look past your fingertips. After you exhale, walk or float to the top of your mat. Pressing the ground of your legs, inhale, lift your chest through your upper arms, look forward. Exhale, fold in. Rooting down through your feet, inhale, circle your arms like a full moon. Let the palms meet overhead, a gesture of union and gratitude. Exhale, trace your thumbs down your center to your heart. A moment here to seal in your intention for your practice. And to dedicate your practice to someone you care about too. Take a deep breath in for 1 chant of Om. Deep inhale. Let's flow through Sun Salutation A. Inhale, circle your arms overhead and look up. Exhale, bow from your hips, bend your knees if you need. Press the ground of your legs. Inhale, lift your heart and gaze forward. Step into plank or float into chaturanga. Exhale to lower. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog, lifting your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause here for 3 deep breaths. Cultivating a steady rhythm that you can softly hear as your breath glides past the back of your throat and out through your nostrils. On your third in-breath, bend your knees and look past your hands. After emptying your breath, walk or float to the top of your mat. Inhale to lengthen forward. Exhale to fold. Rooting down, inhale, rise, palms meet towards the moon. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Twice more, Surya Namaskar. Inhale, sweep your arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise halfway. Step, step, or float. Lower into your vinyasa of choice. Make it all the way through cobra or upward dog. Then pause for 3 breaths in downward dog. Counting your own breaths. When you finish the third exhale, on your own, walk or float to the top of your mat and take 1 more full round of Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A. In the silence, listen to your breath pace. When you finish your 3 breaths in downward dog, finish your sun salutation A at the top of your mat, and I'll meet you standing in a forward fold. So for this forward fold, we're going to give our calves a bit more attention. Step your feet apart, hips distance, parallel. And then you may want to have your blocks here on their tallest height, framing your feet. And then cross your right foot in front of your left foot. So your right foot is now to the left side. And bend your right knee slightly. Left leg stays generally straight. Inhale, lift your chest, lean towards the front of your heels. And as you exhale little by little, actually for a few breaths, hinge from your hips. Try to keep an open space at your throat. Now, if you find that you're able to reach hold of the backs of your legs, like your calves or ankles instead of the blocks, see if you might be able to bend the elbows apart as you do that so you can easily lift your shoulders up away from your neck. Let's take about 3 more breaths here. Bringing some attention to our back body. How much do we see the back of our body on a day-to-day basis? Talking about what lurks in the shadows physically. Now press into your blocks or the ground and inhale, lift the chest, look forward. Step the right foot to the right and cross the left foot over to the right side. Bend your left knee slightly. Right leg is straight here, hinging from your hips, breath by breath. See what's available for you to place your hands on, whether it be the blocks or catching hold of the backs of your legs. Free up your neck, let the head go. Let's take about 3 more breaths. Press into your blocks or the ground. Inhale, lift the chest again. Uncross your legs and let your feet come together to touch as we begin a continuous flow through 2 rounds of sun salutation B. Bring your knees together in chair pose, sitting low. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, press the ground of your legs, lengthen halfway. Step or float as you breathe out. Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you, squaring your hips. Exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb and spin the back heel down. Feet are hips distance apart as you face forward. Inhale, rise, warrior 1. Ride the exhale down into your vinyasa. So if you want to change up your vinyasa, you could move into cat-cow instead, or skip it all together and go directly to downward dog. See what serves your intention. Back to down dog. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale, the foot beside your left thumb. Spin the right heel down. Feet are hips distance, face forward. Inhale, warrior 1. Exhale into your vinyasa. I'll meet you in downward facing dog for a few breaths. Slowing down your breathing and rebalancing it. Remember that anytime your body needs rest, you have the freedom of choice. Wrapping up this first of 2 sun salutation Bs. Bend your knees as you breathe in, look forward. Empty your breath, then walk or float to the top. With feet touching, inhale, lift your chest, look forward. Exhale, fold. And with knees touching, inhale, sit back into chair. Exhale to rise, mountain pose. Last round of Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Step or float back. Insert your vinyasa here. And I'll meet you in downward dog. When you arrive, pacing at your breath, inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale the foot forward, back heel down. Inhale, rise, warrior 1. Exhale down into your vinyasa. Side 2 from downward dog. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale the foot beside the left thumb, back heel down. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale into your vinyasa. Then 3 deep breaths, or more as you need, slowing things down. What surfaces when you're still and witnessing. As you feel ready, I'll meet you at the top of your mat, forward fold. Then with feet touching, inhale, rise forward halfway. Exhale, fold. Knees touching, inhale, chair pose. This time, join your hands at your heart and let's enter another twist, revolve chair. See that your knees stay in one line. Lengthen your spine as you breathe in. Then at your waistline, begin to twist to the right as you breathe out. For about 5 breaths here, you might sink the hips a little lower and hook the left elbow outside your right thigh. You might choose to open your arms and place your hands on the right side of your left foot, maybe on a block. Feel into your breath. We've got 2 more. Harita Utkatasana is the name of this pose. Sinking your hips a little lower. Inhale back to chair pose. Exhale, please rise up, interlacing your fingers. Accept your index. Standing a little taller, breathe in. And to your right, exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. To your left, exhale, side bend. Inhale, center. Bend your knees and sit into chair. Hands together at your heart. Breathe in here and exhale, begin to twist to your left. So see if you might be able to take the same version of the pose as you did on the first side, though the degree of it might be different. Last 2 deep breaths. Sink your hips a little lower. Inhale back to chair pose. This time, exhale, forward folds. Please step your feet hips width apart and parallel. Bend your knees as much as you might need. And lifting your toes, slip your palms face up under the soles of your feet. Try to get your toes to meet the inner creases of your wrists so that we can give your outer wrists a stretch in Padahastasana. Inhale, lean your weight towards the front of your heels and press your chest through your upper arms. Exhale, hinge from your hips and completely drop your head. Maybe bend the elbows apart so that you can lift the shoulders. Let's try that twice more. Inhale, lengthen your crown towards your front wall. Exhale, bow in further. Inhale, lift your heart through your upper arms. Exhale, fold. Now let's stay a few breaths here. You might shake and nod your head. You might take some clearing, cooling lion's breaths where you exhale with a mouth wide, releasing any sound. You might flutter your lips to release any tension in your jaw. Then slipping your palms out from under. Let's meet in downward facing dog. You choose if you want to insert another vinyasa here. As you arrive in downward facing dog, inhale, raise your right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the knee to tap your left elbow or tricep and stack your 2 shoulders evenly above your 2 wrists. Step the right foot beside your right thumb, entering crescent lunge. Inhale to rise. Now you have the option of lowering your back knee completely on the ground or taking a moment to bend that knee and drawing the tailbone down. Adjust the bowl shape of your pelvis so that it is as neutrally upright as possible with your 2 frontal hip bones evenly facing forward. And then from there, you might straighten the left leg if that's available. Bending your front knee just over the heel. Let's take 3 more breaths. Perhaps you bring the palms together. Maybe you look up. And bring your hands together, your heart. Spin your left heel down and slide your right foot a few inches to the left, aligning your right heel to the arch of your left foot. Open your arms wide and stack your 2 shoulders above your 2 hips. Warrior 2. Steadying your gaze just past your right fingertips, soften the muscles in your face. Straightening your right leg. You might opt for a slightly shorter stance for triangle. Glide your hips to the rear wall and reach your right hand forward and onto your right leg. or just to the right of your leg, maybe on a block. Now let's take the extended version of triangle pose. And that is wrapping your left tricep to face your left wall, then reaching the left arm overhead towards your front wall. Now feel into your shoulders here, please. Press them down your back, keeping your neck long, and find a little bit of a spinal twist where you're turning your chest slightly to face the sky. If it feels okay on your neck, look up past your left elbow. Feel the strength of your legs here. Though they're straight, notice that your knees are not locked. Last 3 breaths in Utthita Trikonasana. Take a look at your right foot as you breathe in. Exhale, back to downward dog, or take a vinyasa first, your choice. Feel into your body, notice your breath. What might you be sensing under the layers of the physical? Next, inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, cross your left knee to tap your right elbow or tricep, shoulders right over your wrists. Then step your left foot beside your left thumb. Inhale, rise to crescent lunge. Remember, you could lower the back knee entirely or bend it to help you orient your pelvic bowl as neutrally upright as possible. And then perhaps straighten the right leg after that. Bending the front knee just over the heel. Maybe bring the palms a touch or not. Steadying your gaze intentionally, let's take 3 last breaths here in crescent moon pose. Join your hands at your heart, spin your right heel down and align your left heel to the arch of your right foot. Open your arms and gaze past your left hand for Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Hugging your left outer hip towards you, firm the top of your right thigh bone back towards you as well. Straighten your left leg for triangle. You might slightly shorten your stance. Glide your hips towards the back of your mat and reach your left hand forward and down onto your left leg or just to the left of it, maybe on a block. So in this extended triangle, rotate your right tricep to face your right wall, then sweep the arm overhead while sending your shoulders down your back and adding a bit of a twist by spiraling your chest slightly towards the sky, maybe even looking up. Feel into the left shoulder here. Don't let it come along for the ride in that twist. 4 more breaths. Utthita Trikonasana. Look down at your left foot, breathe in. Exhale down into a vinyasa or moment to rest or straight to downward dog where we'll meet. Let's take a few deep breaths, noticing whatever you notice. Inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale, bend knee to nose, step the foot forward into crescent lunge again. Inhale, rise. Join your hands at your heart and exhale, lean the torso forward and twist to your right. This time with the option of hooking left elbow outside right thigh, either joining the hands in prayer, arms open wide, or for those of you that want to bind, entering a wrap by pressing the left forearm with your right palm down beneath your left thigh, then wrapping the right arm behind your back so that perhaps the hands meet to clasp. Feel the leveling of your hips. Each inhale, lengthen your spine forward. Press your inner left heel back. Each exhale, hollow your belly. Hips squared as you twist. 3 more breaths. Now take a look at the ground ahead of your right foot and slowly unravel up to crescent lunge again. Crescent lunge. Slowly step your left foot to touch the right foot in chair pose at the top of your mat. Little flow sequence here. Inhale in chair. As you exhale, flex the right foot off the floor and comes to stand just on your left leg. Use your right thumb to hook the right hip crease down. Left hand catching outer right knee if you want to keep it bent in this twist. Or left hand catching outer right flex foot if you want to extend the leg forward. Inhale, elongate to your center line. Exhale, keep twisting to the right and maybe reach the right arm back. Perhaps look past it. 4 more breaths. In revolved, hand to big toe pose. If you're looking behind you, start to look forward. Inhale the arms up, keep the right leg lifted. Exhale, step the right foot back into crescent lunge. Now the alternate side. Inhale, crescent lunge, coil your chest towards the full moon. Exhale down into your Vinyasa or straight to downward dog. Take a deep breath in, clear it out. Slow, steady breaths. Remember that one quote by Ram Dass at the beginning about watching your own drama unfold and remembering that you are more than your drama. You're more than just an actor in the story, you're the witness. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee towards your nose, step forward into crescent lunge. Inhale to rise. Join your hands at your heart and exhale, lean forward and twist to the left, perhaps taking the option to hook the right elbow outside your left thigh. Whether hands stay in prayer, arms open wide, or playing with a wrap by pressing your left palm onto your right forearm so that it moves under your left thigh, and then wrapping the left arm behind your back so that your hands meet to clasp. Inhale, lengthen through your center line through both ends. Squaring your hips, exhale, continue to twist. About 3 more breaths. Look at the ground just in front of your left foot. Steady your breathing and start to unwind up again to crescent lunge, arms overhead. Slowly step your right foot next to the left in chair pose. Hands together at your heart in chair, breathe in. Flex your left foot off the ground. Exhale, rise to stand just on your right leg. Using the left thumb, hook the crease of your left outer hip down. If you want to keep your left knee bent, take your right hand to catch the outside of that knee. If you want to straighten the left leg, place your right hand on your outer left foot and extend the leg forward. Inhale, lengthen through your center line. Exhale, turn your chest to the left. You might reach the left arm behind you, perhaps even look past it. Whatever option you're choosing, notice your state of mind here. Notice the quality of your breathing here. It's like they're all different paths that lead to one. If you're looking behind you, slowly look forward, keeping the breath steady. Left leg stays lifted if you can. Inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, step the ball of your left foot back into crescent lunge, opposite side. Inhale, coil your chest up towards the moon. Wash it down with a vinyasa or not. This time, I'll meet you in child's pose. Deep breath in. Any clearing sound, open your mouth wide, stick out your tongue, lion's breath. And then try a couple more on your own. And from child's pose, please rock forward onto hands and knees. Turn out your right thigh and slide the shin across your mat in front of your pelvis into single pigeon pose. Tucking your left toes behind you. Place your hands alongside your hips. Lift your pelvis to help scissor your right hip back, left hip forward. Notice if it might be helpful to place a prop under your right glute, and then relax your back foot. And if your right shin is parallel to the front edge of your mat, flex your right foot here to stabilize your knee. Breathe in, lift your heart, stay here. Option to bow forward. Option to bow forward and enter a spinal twist and thread the needle. Or if you're staying upright, option to come into a back bend of king pigeon pose, in which you backstroke your left arm and catch hold of your inner left ankle or foot. Maybe hooking the crease of your left elbow onto the top of the left foot. Maybe raising the right arm towards the sky, maybe clasping the fingers. All options. Let's take about 7 more breaths wherever you've chosen. And then slowly make your way back to hands and knees or downward facing dog, where you could give your right leg some movement at the hip. A few breaths. Then from hands and knees, turn out your left thigh and cross the shin in front of your pelvis. Slide the right leg straight behind you and tuck the toes. With your hands alongside your hips, lift your pelvis and scissor your left outer hip back, your right hip forward. If your left shin is parallel to the front edge of your mat, flex your left foot. And then relax your right toes, lift your chest, and then see if you can move into the same version of this posture as you did on the first side. Again, honor the amount of intensity it needs to be. Seven more deep breaths. Take your time and ease your way back to hands and knees or downward facing dog. And again, give your left leg this time some movement. As you come down to sit, slide your legs in front of you to prepare for a seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Whether you choose to place a strap around the balls of your feet or extend the arms up, firm in the lower belly and flex your feet so tall as you breathe in, and extend your heart forward as you breathe out, breath by breath. So if you're not using a strap, you might catch hold of the backs of your legs. You might clasp your big toes. See if you can integrate a little bit of cobra pose here. You're coiling the chest slightly up and drawing the shoulder blades down your back. About 4 more deep breaths. Leading with your chest, inhale, slowly rise up. And then let's take a block or two and come into a supported fish pose for about 10 breaths. If you're using 2, a good way to start is to place 1 block at the tallest height at the rear of your mat as a pillow for your head. And then the second block, medium height across your mat. Pelvis stays on the floor. And as you lean back, catch the area right beneath your shoulder blade tips onto the lower block, back of the head on the higher block. Now, if you want a bit more opening in the chest, you could tilt the block that's under your head 1 or 2 or 3 steps lower, or remove it altogether. Let's take 10 deep breaths. Really feel your lungs expand the walls of your ribcage, especially at your collarbones. You'd have your knees bent wide in Supta Baddha Konasana, where you bring the soles of your feet together, or anything that's comfortable for your legs and lower back. Slowly begin to turn over to one side, coming off of your props. And let's set up for a cooling inversion of your choice, whether it be supported shoulder stand with 1 block under your sacrum and your legs lifted up, or if you normally practice shoulder stand, then you might use a folded blanket to prop your upper back and shoulders on. Taking the traditional Salamba Sharvangasana if you choose. 10 breaths. Maybe plow pose, Halasana. And then take your time to come out of your inversion. Take a few breaths, maybe in happy baby pose or a brief supine spinal twist. In your own way, easing into your final resting pose. Look around you and gather whatever props might be useful as you lovingly position your body to take rest in stillness. Closing your eyes when you arrive, and perhaps visualizing as you control the breath one last time, inhaling and filling up your entire body. Holding the breath in for a few seconds, maybe sipping in a little more air at the top, before you slowly release the breath through your mouth and feel the support of the earth holding your body. Take rest. Repeat Ram Dass's last 3 quotes. Feeling of aversion or attachment towards something is your clue that there's work to be done. Everything changes once we identify with being the witness to the story instead of actor in it. Learn to watch your drama unfold, while at the same time knowing you are more than your drama. Please begin to deepen your breath, perhaps keeping your eyes closed. Continue to tune inward. Be gentle with yourself as you slowly stretch and move your body out of stillness. You might draw your knees into your chest, comforting embrace. And then perhaps turn over to your right side until you feel ready to press into the ground and rise. Find a comfortable seat, and as we sit for 5 minutes, observing just what kinds of stories take place in our minds, what narratives, like you're watching a movie and you're not just the actor in it, you're the witness. 5 minutes here. Palms to meet your heart in this representation of light and shadow coming together, of embracing our wholeness, union, which is in the root meaning of yoga. Let's close this practice with 3 chants of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.